all your love and energy to Andrew Cornelius.
Hello, friends. Hello. So last night I told a joke about how it's hard to be a comedian here at this festival because you lose out to an apple. And now that joke is funny. Now some of you can see just to the left and you're like, wow, there's like 100 people out there. Like, can't get down here. Like, I am glad to be the second comic, but really they should have had like a Golden Delicious do the next 10 minutes. That would have sold some seats. Bring some people out here. I am glad to be here because, unfortunately, on my way out of Los Angeles, my credit card was cloned. Yeah, okay. So if you didn't groan, you may not understand what I'm saying. I still had my credit card physically in my pocket. Like, that was a thing I had. However, someone had the number and kept buying things on my account, so that wasn't so great. It's one of the lesser great moments. Like before, like our host for sure, like his mom's cancer, that's like down there, but also like having your credit card but watching your money just evaporate, that's also a not a fun situation. So I contacted Bank of America, which sounds like I should be in charge of like banks. Like, oh, this comedian's got his shit together. He has an account at Bank of America, but it's not. Like, most of you know, like Bank of America's like, like the first thing Bank of America does is like, every time I log in, they ask me for a 6-digit code to come back in. Like, they never know that it's me. Like, if I had known that in 2025, like most of my life would be spent like going back to my phone, entering a 6-digit code and coming back, like that's the future. How amazing. And every time like Bank of America's like, we would never ask for this number. I'm like, you actually slow down. You ask for this number 100% of the times I log in. Don't say we would never ask for this number. That's way too many times for you. You need to like slow your roll just a little bit. And so I was trying to get in and explain that like, oh, it's me. And they're like, okay, so just go through your security questions. And the first question they asked me is, what was the first concert you attended? Now this is a slam dunk for millennial Andrew here. I remember that it was 311. And I tell them so, and they're like, nope, it says you said 311. Why did I spell it out? I don't know. That's the first strike. The second strike goes into the AI part. They're like, just drag this square into the corner. And that seems super easy, but 100% of the times I've ever been presented with one of those pictures, I have clicked the picture instead of the drag thing. I never get it right. That was strike 2. Strike 3 came up when they asked me to identify of these 6 things, which one is the bed. I'm a professional comedian who gets paid in alcohol. Anywhere could be a bed for me. This could be a bed over there. That pew-looking thing, that could be a bed. That chair could be a bed. This is I've never felt more like a computer game in my mind. I'm like, what am I? Don't understand. Everything is a bed. But I'm like, okay, let me think of a traditional bed, a bed that would get me into these things. Like, yes, that's a bed, that would be a bed, that would be a bed. And like, slowly but surely, I made it through the process. And that's a good feeling. Like, all of a sudden, you're making progress on these moments. Like, it's hard, like the age that we live in, like trying to like prove you are who you are, like these like 6-digit codes. It never ends. It never ends. And this weird digital proof of you are who you are. Have you ever lost your phone before? That's a disaster and a half. Especially if you're by yourself. There's no way, like, you can go to another device and be like, oh, there's my phone, but you can't contact anyone. In fact, like one day I lost my phone and they're like, okay, call this number. I'm like, that's an impossibility. How would I call the number? The one thing I cannot do is make a call. Like everything else is mostly backed up. But like that, I cannot in any way make a phone call. That's, unless I have a friend, and I don't have a lot of friends. That's a comedian thing. That's the tough part about being in our lives, in our relationship. Meanwhile, Bank of America is like, okay, so way to make it through the security. You passed the last test. You are who you are. And I'm like, that's great. I am happy to understand that I have made it through it. They're like, okay, so you just, there's all these charges. There's all these charges on your card, and you just need to approve them. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not approving any of these charges. I assure you that. For instance, why don't you give me the first charge? And they're like, okay, did you buy $300 worth of gasoline at Shell? And I'm like, no. Even if I were to fill up my car and then be like, I'm going to pay it forward. Everybody gets gasoline. Who else wants gasoline? And then I made like a gasoline fountain and I just shot gasoline into the air. That is still way too much gasoline. No, Bank of America, no, I deny these charges. All right, fine. Okay, would you possibly buy 8 iPhones? No, Bank of America, that is insane. Even if I didn't want to charge a new iPhone, I just want to throw it away. I didn't want to have an iPhone anymore. That is way too many iPhones. I have but 2 hands, and I have like but 2 feet. Even then, that's 4 extra iPhones that are not even be touched. Bank of America, that is way too many iPhones. Bank of America says, okay, fine. Did you order 16 subscriptions to OnlyFans? Bank of America, I support artists. That could be me. You need to tell me what the passwords were, whose sites those are. Just send them to the email on file. That's what I need to know. No, you guys have been a great audience. Thank you for being the first part of this. We have a lot of great comments still coming up, and I want you to know that I am Andrew Cornelius. At the end of the show, I'll be there in the back of the corner, and I happen to have 8 iPhones for sale. All right, talk to you soon.